Hello, and welcome to our solution overview of Veritas eDiscovery platform. For the next few minutes, we're going to show you how organizations can dramatically reduce the costs and risks associated with litigation through the use of eDiscovery platform. eDiscovery platform helps organizations by streamlining the process of eDiscovery and helping organizations manage the entire EDRM model from start to finish. So with that, let's get started. With the ever-increasing frequency and costs of litigation, not to mention new regulations in place around data privacy across the world, organizations need an end-to-end eDiscovery solution that is going to make it easy for non-technical users, not just the experts and the IT managers, but anyone in the organization, legal counsel, etc., to self-serve evidence and gain insights from business communications and or document repositories. And we all know nowadays communications span beyond just email. There's instant messaging, collaboration tools, and many other forms of communication that have to be included in the eDiscovery process.
The Veritas eDiscovery platform is an end-to-end eDiscovery solution that maps to the EDRM, or Electronic Discovery Reference Model workflow. For some of you, this may be a new tool from Veritas. However, we were traditionally known inside of the eDiscovery market as Clearwell, which was later acquired by Symantec and then turned into the Veritas eDiscovery platform. As we follow along on that EDRM workflow, you can see here, we first map to the legal hold phase, which is the ability to be able to issue legal holds to custodians, allowing them to confirm and let the stakeholders know that they have a duty to preserve data. We're able to scale in that legal hold scenario and initiate notifications to company-wide Active Directory environments. Following along in that EDRM workflow, we then go to the identification and collection phase. We're able to collect from Enterprise Vault and enterprisevault.cloud, which is Veritas's email archiving solution. We're also able to collect from Office 365 environments, as well as a plethora of other content sources in a reactive collection format. Following along on that EDRM workflow, we then move into the processing and analysis portion, where we're able to index the data that's now been reactively collected and run early case assessment using the tools that are available inside. Then we move along to the review and export and production phase of the EDRM model, where we allow for legal teams and end users to come in and review their data, add work product to their data in the form of tagging, folder their data as they need to, and make decisions on whether data is relevant specific to their investigation. Following that investigation, we can then go through and export the data out in a native format if it needs to be exported to an outside counsel, or produce it in a legally defensible production format. You can see our product maps to that EDRM workflow, and we also have case management and lifecycle reporting that is built in throughout our tool. So when we say that the Veritas eDiscovery platform is an end-to-end discovery solution, we do believe it to be a complete litigation support tool for organizations. That includes collecting from content sources and culling down the data in an eDiscovery format. When we talk about collecting from content sources, we're talking about a reactive collection specific to an investigation or litigation. And that can be from live sources, including Office 365 and the entire environment available inside of Office 365, as well as archive solutions, including Veritas' Enterprise Vault and enterprisevault.cloud solutions. As we follow along on that EDRM workflow, once we've run a reactive collection of that data, we're then able to cull the data down using our processing and early case assessment tools, able to analyze the data and cull the data down using filters and keyword searches, and then ultimately review the data, deciding whether something is relevant or not relevant specific to our investigation or litigation, and getting us to a much smaller data set that's being produced out to an outside counsel or opposing party. We believe that that complete discovery solution allows us to save costs by culling the size of the data down, as well as accelerating our downstream review using some of the tools that are leveraged inside of the product. We're able to use different tools in review, as well as bulk redactions for data that needs to be produced out for any type of regulatory body, giving us a full end-to-end eDiscovery solution. One of the points to illustrate with the Veritas eDiscovery platform is its direct integration with Enterprise Vault and enterprisevault.cloud, which are Veritas's archiving solutions for customers. Now, being the leader in archiving solutions around the world for the last few years, Many e-discovery platforms have wanted to be able to have a direct integration into the Enterprise Vault and Enterprise Vault.cloud archives, but the Veritas eDiscovery platform is the only tool on the market today that has the direct integration. And what does that allow for? That allows for searching. We're able to directly search the archived content inside of the archives. We're able to put a hold in place, a direct hold in place by a mouse click, so that data cannot be deleted out of the archive. And then we're able to collect it in a reactive format for any type of litigation or investigation that's ongoing. This allows for legal teams and information governance teams to have a more simplified workflow, scaled out collections between Enterprise Vault.cloud and eDiscovery platform, and enhancing the investments that you've made in the products purchased by Veritas when they complement one another in this way. Now, to illustrate our point on how the Veritas eDiscovery platform, as a part of its larger information governance solution, has helped our customers, we used the example of a major bank that we worked with that had a very short amount of time to produce a large amount of data and otherwise facing sanctions if they were unable to produce that data. Now, at initial discovery, using the Veritas eDiscovery platform along with collections from Enterprise Vault, they found that they had almost 4.5 million relevant documents specific to the investigation. But by using the identification and collection modules within Veritas eDiscovery platform, they were able to cull down that data by over 90% before it was even ingested into the review platform. And they found that that was the cost savings. By reducing the amount of data that had to be reviewed down at the collections level, they recognized a cost savings for reviewers to have to actually review their data. With that, they were able to reduce the data size, meet their deadlines, and have a strong cost savings. And to illustrate the point with that case study even further, you can see here that across an eDiscovery case timeline, what it may look like in more of a traditional process where we're first having to identify where the data sources may reside, tracking legal holds that have been sent to custodians that have a duty to preserve data, collecting that data across all the different content sources, then taking the time to review and analyze each one of those documents by a legal team, adding work products to that data, and then reviewing and exporting it out to the parties that need to be sent to. Using the Veritas eDiscovery platform, we went from a 2-week timeline to less than half a week to be able to produce the data that needed to be sent over to that regulatory body. Now, generally, when we're talking about e-discovery as an industry and e-discovery as a workflow and e-discovery as a technology, we're staying within the legal space, dealing with litigation requests, whether it be data being produced to an outside party, to an outside counsel, or even any type of regulatory request that has come in where data needs to be produced. But one of the new workflows that we're trying to trend towards as it relates to the larger technology that an organization has invested in revolves around privacy. We see subject access requests as well as public records requests as a workflow that the e-discovery technology that an organization already has invested in can now be leveraged for this new workflow that has been created with different organizations. With subject access requests that are coming from legislation such as GDPR that's found in Europe and CCPA, the California Consumer Protection Act, we're finding that privacy investigations that have to be done by organizations can still leverage the e-discovery platform to be able to cull their data down, search their data, and then produce the data out that needs to be responded to. In addition, with public records requests, generally we're seeing FOIA investigations at the federal, state, and local levels where agencies are able to, again, cull the data down, collect it, search it, and then export it out. And so we're finding that those workflows, although it existed in an e-discovery space, is now also being brought over into both the privacy and the public records spaces as well.
So to wrap up, what really defines Veritas in the e-discovery market and makes us a leader in this space? First of all, it's our ease of use. With consumer-grade usability, the ability to provide self-service e-discovery features to users across the organization. Flexible employment options, you can deploy virtually or physically in your environment, and workflow automation, the capability to automate many of the processes that would otherwise take hundreds of hours for outside counsel to achieve. Second, the completeness of our solution with functionality across every stage in the EDRM model. the ability to ingest content from many different sources, and embedded machine learning, which further facilitates and automates e-discovery. And finally, portfolio integration, hold in place, which ensures defensible preservation of content, direct collections from EV and EV Cloud, our enterprise vault archiving solutions, which support many other content sources, and finally, integration with our information classifier engine, which prioritizes reviews and helps reduce junk and noise in the e-discovery process. And with that, we want to thank you for taking the time to learn about eDiscovery platform today. To learn more, simply visit veritas.com/eDiscovery platform.